Godzilla 1962 here, and today, let's look back at a film that would have changed Godzilla history forever. An American-made Godzilla film that would have used Soup Mason, and had an interesting American star. Let's get into Godzilla Reborn. In 1992, Sony acquired the rights to produce an American Godzilla film. Sony would lend the project to TriStar, and they would have their hands full with ideas for a possible film, with the most famous being Godzilla vs. the Griffin. But years would pass with no film releasing, and this would lead to Toho stretching out the Heisei era, though that's not to say Toho didn't want to make films anyways. But eventually TriStar would release Godzilla in 1998. Godzilla 98 is a very decisive film to say the least, but Sony and TriStar had big plans with the sequel script being written, but the film was never produced. A year after Godzilla 98 released, Toho came back around and released Godzilla 2000 Millennium. TriStar would dub the film and it would be released in America in the year 2000. This release of the dubbing in America will lead to a brand new audience, and this new growth could have been a contributing factor for the film we will be talking about. Starting as a joke, Michael Schlesinger bumped into John Dante and mentioned how Toho was showing off the version of Godzilla 2000 in different countries and were planning to play it in Japan. John said, "Yep, you're really Mr. Godzilla now." Michael replied with, "Yeah, and if this company is smart, they'll get you, me, and Joe to do the next American one." Seeing the success of The Wrath of Khan, Michael asked John and Joe to discuss a similar scenario with Godzilla. So going up to the head of production at Columbia, Godzilla Reborn was pitched. A smaller budget than 98 Godzilla, but with big name stars. Although it sounded good, the head of Columbia wasn't eager about putting such a film into production, so Michael wrote a script to help make the film a reality. Being made as a sequel to Godzilla 2000 with character Shiro Miyazaki set to return, being set in Hawaii, the film would have followed a female TV reporter on vacation. Meanwhile, there was a male lead who was a skirt-chasing smartass, but the two show signs that they are interested in each other. Meanwhile, Godzilla is stomping through the islands of Hawaii. This is because it erupts and awakens a kaiju named Miba. This kaiju is a molten lava bat creature that looks like the Mutos from Godzilla 2014, just without legs. Godzilla would have been killed by the military, but when the military finds out they can't kill Miba, they make a clone of Godzilla, which defeats Miba. The film would have had an all-star cast, with the actors being Bruce Campbell, Jamie Lee Curtis, Christopher Lee, Leonard Nimoy, Ken Takara, and Robert Picardo. Such names I'm sure would have had a decent chance of getting more money at the box office. The film would have gone through some changes though, with the biggest being Toho changing Godzilla's death. Toho didn't like the idea of killing off Godzilla, so instead of dying then being brought back as a clone, he was instead put into a coma. The title of the film, Godzilla Reborn, was actually because Godzilla died and was reborn as a clone, but even with the change of Godzilla staying alive, the title was kept the same. Though the original title of the film was Godzilla East of Java, Michael Schlesinger said it was more of a joke title for getting to Godzilla Reborn. For those who don't know, Michael Schlesinger is a comedy writer, so this film would have had the human scenes be comedic and kaiju scenes be serious. For example, the film would have had pipe-smoking scientists, Bronx Jew, a drinking police officer, and a belligerent army general. In those pipe-smoking scientists, one of them would have been Japanese, with the sidekick being previously brought up Miyazaki. But the fights would have had a more serious take on them. This would help the audience not to laugh at the kaiju scenes, instead the humans. Now, why was the film never made? Well, it's actually a really unfortunate scenario. When the script was done and ready to be pitched again, there was a new head of production. This head of production didn't even read the script and said, "I'm in the Spider-Man business. $20 million movies aren't on my radar." If the film had a $120 million budget, he may have been interested, but that was too much money. And even as a die-hard Godzilla fan, I doubt it would have even broke $90 million if the budget was that big. So with that, Godzilla Reborn was dead. With Michael Schlesinger saying, "It takes balls to say that to Sid Ganis, who's a former Academy president, but he did." And that's the story of Godzilla Reborn. A film that I'm sure would have been fun, but we'll never be able to see it come to fruition. So instead of Godzilla Reborn being released in 2001, we got Godzilla Mothra King Ghidorah Giant Monsters All Out Attack, a film that is seen as one of the best of the franchise. So what do you all think about this cancelled film? Or if you enjoy seeing it brought to life, let me know in the comments below. I apologize if I mispronounced any names. With all that being said, don't forget to like and subscribe. Godzilla 962, signing off.